to the north east is where the open space will be, that will be shared with the Buellton Apartments. So these are the color elevations. The one to the top left is the front of the building that you would, as if you were standing on the Avenue of Flags looking at the building. The elevation to the top right would be the back of the building that faces the parking lot in the back. And the south, below that is the south elevation, and below that is the north elevation. The architecture is agrarian, which is consistent with the community design guidelines, and we also have a color and materials board located below the screen there. So just some more project details. Again, the architecture is agrarian, which is consistent with community design guidelines. All of the apartments on the second story do have balconies, which will contribute to the open space requirement, which we will talk about later in the presentation. There are 5 bicycle parking spaces provided in addition to the 40 vehicle parking spaces. And again, access is provided along the Avenue of Flags. 15% of the units are required to be affordable per inclusionary zoning, which is converted to 1.05 units. However, staff does support an in lieu fee in place of providing the affordable units, and that's included in the conditions of approval. So just some development standards. The project does have to comply with mixed-use regulations as a mixed-use project. So as part of the project, each unit is required to provide 250 square feet of open space per unit, which is converted to 1,750 square feet total. So the balconies on average provide 199 square feet per unit, or 1,394 square feet total, so it's just a little short. However, in order to make up the difference, there's a proposal to do a joint use agreement with the Buellton Apartments project with the adjoining playground and open space to make up for those 350 or so square feet.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to know, in that agreement, is that forever, no matter, I'm not suggesting one of the parties is going to sell their thing, but if they do, does that agreement follow the deed?
It does run with the land.
Okay, thank you.
So how does that work? Like, how big is the playground? If you add the playground, is that
It's about 9,000 square feet total. Oh. So, yeah.
I think we got the number there.
So, yeah. So, and then also.
And how far away is there's a reason that this is. I mean, let me ask a question, because this is like my only really hitching point on the whole thing. In a post-avenue specific plan world, which I know we are not in now, how would this apply or not apply?
Or conform it, yeah.
Do you see what I'm getting at?
If the specific plan goes in place, will this project be out of compliance with the specific plan?
I don't want to talk about the whole project. That's okay. No, I'm talking about this open space requirement specifically.
It would be consistent. We'd be following the mixed-use standards in our code for open space, but we'd have more flexibility in the specific plan, such as this, to share facilities, share courtyards, and things like that. So this would conform to some of the form-based coding that we are proposing with the avenue-specific plan.
Okay. Yeah, so in a post-specific plan world, the requirement would still be 200 square foot per unit.
More than likely for residential, because that's kind of the standard we go with. But we could make it a little more flexible with the form-based coding that a park could satisfy it, or open space in the avenue, things like that. But that we'd still have similar requirements for individual units, so they would have some open space, such as the balconies and the patios and things like that.
So that'd be part of the trade-offs if we want them to do certain things. We can say,
yeah, there's
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll ask the architect too. So.
Okay, so just the second point there, the height limit in a CR zone is a maximum of 35 feet. However, the highest point of this building is 35.83 feet, so a development plan modification would be required. However, The Buellton Apartments project that's directly adjacent to it has parts of the building are 35 feet, and this would only be less than a foot difference, so staff is in support of the development plan modification. So just some more development standards. Per the mixed-use ordinance, 15% of the net lot area is required to be landscaping, and the project does provide 15% landscaping. The density is maximum density of 10 units per acre, and this project has a density of 9.2 units per acre. And the parking requirement is 37 spaces, and 40 are provided. So at the preliminary meeting for this project back in April of last year, there was several Planning Commission comments. So I was just going to go through each one and see how the applicant has addressed or responded to these comments. So just the first one, consider stepping the building finished floor elevations to better meet property contours. The applicant thought that this would limit the size of the commercial spaces and therefore has not stepped the building and is requesting concurrence from Planning Commission.
And to just further elaborate, if they did the stepping, it would break up the commercial spaces into too small of spaces that could be marketable. So that is why they're requesting to not do that, so they could have usable commercial spaces.
Who had that? I don't think I was here for this. Who had that comment? Do you?
Not me.
I don't think I was here.
I'm not sure, it came out of the Planning Commission, but
Do you guys remember?
Probably Brian,
No, I hadn't.
because he's not here.
But in any case, it's just something brought up, and we studied it and looked at it with the applicant, and staff would be in concurrence with this. But yeah, Andrea just wanted to bring that up to the commission's attention.
Okay, so the next one, to revise the plan to provide safer pedestrian access for the Avenue of Flags. And included in the plan is an opening along the Avenue of Flags in the retaining wall to provide access directly from the Avenue of Flags to the commercial building. So another
Can you show us where that opening is?
Yes. I need to look.
Yeah, I mean, I see it, but
Okay, so it's,
yeah, I see it, but
yeah.
is it in one of the depictions?
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it in one of the depictions?
The elevation?
No, the story,
Yeah.
these cute pictures at the bottom, Mark, Frank.
The elevations.
Go to the elevation. Oh. Put it over to the right. Or they're not going to be able to see it.
Okay.
Right. There. That correct, Sid?
Correct.
How do you get to the residential?
No, just beyond, this is the driveway, the proposed driveway, and just beyond that driveway, there's an opening in the retaining wall, steps.
And that is right up here on the, I don't blind you with the, but it's this particular area here on the elevation plan.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is more street trees shall be added, and 4 Australian flame trees have been added along the street frontage since the last depiction of the plans. The last comment, may be possible to consider the Buellton Apartments and Shumash mixed-use project as one project to provide shared open space and landscaping. So they are not one project, however, as we talked about briefly before, the applicant does request to have a shared use of the open space in the park with the Buellton Apartments.
And this came up from Planning Commission discussions back in the preliminary review as well.
What was the I don't know who made these comments. Do you know who made that comment? Any of you guys?
I remember.
You playing Brian again? Okay.
That's Brian.
Do we know why Brian made that comment? No, I mean, like, I don't understand the intent. Like, why are we making a request to do? help me?
Because they had a large open space, the basketball court and the open space that could be shared by the 7 residents of this project as well as the Buellton Apartments. They didn't feel, and I believe this is the direction, that better to use joint space than to provide additional space for just the 7 residents. That's better to have a joint
I see.
And it could have been just the way it was worded at the time to provide it as one,
Okay.
one project.
So the residential, the people living in the residences and the mixed use could use the
Yes.
facilities at the apartments.
Right, so why put a separate facility when you have one right there owned by the same people at the time? And if
Yeah.
we put the agreement together, it runs with the land, and so if somebody buys the mixed-use building, they still have to provide that shared open space through the agreement. So that's kind of the genesis, and is that your understanding, Sid, too? Yes.
How does the agreement go for the maintenance of that park area?
That would be part of the agreement. They would have to figure out the joint maintenance of the park areas.
somebody
But it'd
has
be
that
private. But
responsibility.
it would be part of the agreement, and staff would review that before they move forward on it.
Okay. So this project is exempt from CEQA as a Class 32 categorical exemption infill development. And finally, the recommendation is that Planning Commission consider the adoption of Resolution Number 1601, approving a final development plan for the Chumash mixed-use project located at 560 Avenue of Flags, Assessors Parcel 137170011, with the development plan modification allowing the increase in maximum height to 35.83 feet. And that concludes my presentation, and we're open for questions.
So, like I said, I apologize, I'm not the guy, I missed the first meeting, so. Did no one make any comments about lack of entry into any of the spaces at the commercial from the west side, i.e. from the core downtown street? No one made any commentary on that?
That's what the opening was for.
Well,
Yeah,
there's an opening to get to the area, but if I owned a commercial space along that west elevation, I would want to enter. You give me a weird face, Mark.
But the way the buildings, the architect can design it, but address it, but the building
frontage.
spaces are facing the south, not the west.
Isn't,
That's basically,
Okay.
Yeah, because you're looking to come in on the end.
Yeah, 'cause you did-
that way. So they wanted to come in and then come to the
Go back
front.
to the site.
I understand, but
Oh,
This
But
plan.
if we're gonna spend hours of my life building up Avenue of the Flags, but I would hope that.
if you can see this particular area, that's frontage on the avenue for massing. It's not an entrance into the building because of the topography. They couldn't get entrances off of the avenue other than the one to get into the project, because there is a significant slope difference in that particular area.
All right, that's a much better answer.
Acceptable?
he's been doing it long, okay?
That's good. Is Sid paying you?
Hey. You think Sid will look.
I have limited words.
Yes. Okay, anybody else have questions of staff?
yeah, the little whited area to the right-hand side, that U-shaped thing up above, yeah, what is that? Pardon?
Let us, we're on the, go ahead.
It's a planter.
We need it on the microphone, too.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. That was great. Well done.
Okay, so it's just a
See
landscape
what I've been
feature.
missing
Yeah.
the whole time.
Okay.
Part of the landscaping.
Do you overhear us?
And it does have an elevator?
Yeah, the elevator is located to the, right there in that.
Okay. And are any, maybe this is a question for the architect, are any of the units going to be adaptable or accessible?
And they can address that when we,
Okay,
when they
I
make
thought
their
that was probably-
presentation. We'll finish staff's presentation and open
Okay.
public hearing.
So the only consideration you have is the extra .83 feet is the only oddity, so to speak, of the whole building?
And the lack of open space.
Well, the open space, I think we addressed that, but is there any reason to address the height, Mark?
No, the height's fine, it's only less than a
It's
foot
less than a foot, right,
different,
it
but we want to make sure we're covered with the appropriate
I get it.
documentation, which
Okay.
is the development plan modification.
Okay.
But no, staff has no issue with the .83. I mean,
Okay.
we're proposing on the avenue to go to 45 as by right, so it's not going to be an issue.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I have some questions for the architect, but I'm good, thank you. Anybody else?
No, we're great, thank you.
Okay. You never let your brother go first, I'm just
No.
saying.
Open public hearing.
Oh, open public hearing,
It was
okay.
remained open from last meeting.
Oh, sorry, yes, you're right.
Yes, I love it when she wins.
Nice job, Claire.
Good evening. I'm Sid Goldstein. I'm a project engineer and agent. And I just want to introduce David Martinez. He's here representing the owner, the tribe. Dan is representing Young Construction. They'll be actually doing the construction on the project. And my brother Dave, who I will let speak after me, is the architect. So this project was in front of the not all of you, but in front of the commission in April. I'm happy to say that with the exception of the stepping of the building, I think we made great efforts to address all the other comments. The steps, which you would think would be a pretty simple matter, we spent days on trying to make all the grades and everything work because it had to interface with the accessibility to the building as well. And what I would like to do is just address the one question that came up with regard to access on Avenue of Flags directly to the building. As Mark pointed out, there's a significant grade difference between the building floor and Avenue of Flags at the sidewalk, especially at the northwest corner of the property. There's about a 5-foot differential between the sidewalk grade and the floor grade. So the only realistic access into the building is from the parking lot. So we're using that expanse of the building, the longer dimension of the building, for the access points into the commercial space. And then the access, as they pointed out, to the apartments is by way of an elevator in the southeast corner. And then we also have an accessibility ramp from the parking lot up into the commercial space. There's also a plan for a short lift, mechanical lift. That would be used, David can speak to this in more detail, but the plan is to use that both for pedestrian accessibility to the commercial space, as well as using it for deliveries of goods to the commercial space. There's a loading space. That white U that somebody asked about is landscaping, but in front of that on the south side is the required truck loading space for this commercial building. So the thought was they could wheel materials to that lift, get it up to the floor level, and then into the commercial spaces. I think Andrea's done a great job presenting the project. Mark's done a great job speaking for me, answering all your questions. I do want to again point out that with regard to the open space, that we are proposing to share, as you recall, there is an extensive amount of open space on the apartment project, and conveniently located to the north of the mixed-use project is that large 9,000 square foot recreation open space area. And I think that's what came up in the April meeting is you've got all this open space, why can't we treat these as one project and really make it more efficient in terms of its use? We're doing that with regard to the open space, but parking is, all the required parking for this site is on this site. All the required parking for the apartments is on the apartment site. We are sharing some other things as well. Access, for example, one of the requirements of the apartment project was to extend a driveway through to Avenue of Flags. That's being done as part of the apartment project, but will also be used for this project, for the mixed-use project. That's their primary means of access to the mixed-use project. And then we also have some shared drainage facilities. So drainage from this project will go through the apartment project and ultimately discharge to Zaca Creek. I think other than that, unless you have questions of me, I'll ask David to come up and address the architecture.
Oh, yeah.
I'll ask the accessibility question to you.
Sure.
Are you going to have some adaptable or accessible units?
Yes, and David can
Okay, so he's
tell you exactly what the details are.
And then when I noticed your detail for the trash container or the trash enclosure there, is one of those bins, or however that is going to be used for recycle?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. One's recycling, one's trash.
okay.
And that's a standard from the city
Okay.
as well to do that. And we work with Marburg on that to make sure.
And Marburg will take mixed?
Yeah, well, no, with commercial?
Yeah,
Mixed recycling and trash?
they used to. They did for
They
years.
prefer, now they want the separate.
Now they want it separate?
But they take the trash and they separate that too and they take it down there. But they prefer it in the separate bins, but they
Okay.
still take the regular trash and go through that to find anything
Yeah.
that they might.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice.
May I talk now?
That's me, that's him. What are you yelling at me for?
My name's David Goldstein. I'm the architect on the project. And to answer your question, so I don't forget about the apartments, due to the fact that we have the elevator and everybody can have access to the second floor in the apartments, all the apartments are required to be accessible and not adaptable, but accessible.
Okay.
So they're all accessible, and ready for anybody with a disability to use and rent. And that's what happened also, by the way, on the Buellton apartment project. We put an elevator in there for convenience, and then all the apartments suddenly had to all be accessible. So I'd like to show you the boards that I brought, and maybe bring them up to you.
Take the microphone and...
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, can we turn on the light maybe over here? Okay. Okay, so much for that. Okay. We have three views of the building, three renderings that we had done. One is from looking north on Avenue of Flags at the project, and this is the front of the building facing south. This is where Sid already pointed out the steps coming down to the lower area. There's probably about at least a 6-foot drop from the south side of the property to the north side when you're walking up that sidewalk that will be installed with the project. So there is quite a bit of drop in there. That's how this north end ends up being 5 feet above the finished floor. But the whole pedestrian area, or pedestrian walk at the shops is all level and accessible. There's an accessible path coming up the sloped driveway that'll come up in front of that walkway and get into a little small plaza area up here, and people will be able to then walk down in front of the shops. As well as there's steps in the back here getting up to that level, and that mechanical lift that we'll be installing that can bring handicap folks up there. The other view here is looking south from the north, obviously, and this is where we have that big drop in the grade over on this side. We have balconies for all the apartments, decks up above here and across here, tucked behind this roof line. And every apartment has an open space. Some of the apartments even have an open space in the back here. So this is looking at the back of the building with that playground area off to the north there, and the sloped driveway coming up this way to Avenue of Flags, and the walkway for the building up here. All the materials are as shown on the color board, which disappeared. Let me run this by you, and then you can look at it later if you wish. A little closer. All right, thanks. We tried to keep all the colors and materials in a natural kind of natural range and natural palette. The paint colors are all here that are shown on the building. We have a composition shingle roof for the main roof up above, but then we have areas where we have metal roofing on the building also. We've incorporated some stone veneer along the front here of the building, all the way around. And where's that? Oh, and then over on this side of the building, we have a chimney-type feature here, and then along the sides of the building there. As Mark said, or I'm sorry, as Andrea said, this is an agrarian design, and so that's why we kept it natural. We have the split block on the north side toward the back, and then the stone veneer up front. So that's basic color palette and everything that's going on. I think
Hey, Mark,
that about covers it. I think
Mark.
best,
can you grab that north elevation?
you want to see this up
Please.
close and
Yes, sir.
personal?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can sit down, yeah. I think the best thing to do would be to answer any questions you might have about the project. I'd be glad to do that and see what your...
Mr. Chairman, I just have one
Yeah, go
question.
ahead.
This is probably more of a City of Buellton question. It's a weird one. The rain gutters, do they go directly to the storm drain, or do they go to, I don't call it hardscape?
The rain gutters, I think, go to a storm drain.
Well, some will go.
Some of the gutters on the north side of the building, because there's just a 3-foot side yard,
Okay.
will go to storm drain. We don't want to cause problems with drainage back there. Some of the others will be directed to the surface, to landscape areas.
Okay.
And we do have an area, I should have pointed out, the driveway itself is permeable pavers
Okay.
all the way through this project and the apartment project. So some of that drainage
So
will be
so
directed
it's a mixed
to
bag?
that, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
This strip down here, the pavers, as it is through the apartment project, there's some permeable pavers back in here in the parking area.
And have you ever considered going for LEED certification?
No, we haven't. I know the tribe is very interested in doing things, interested in energy efficiency and sustainability, but we have not considered LEED on this.
I think you'd probably be real close with just getting certified real easily.
Well, we're trying, but certification in something like that is a major
Time consuming.
undertaking
I got
and
you.
a major expense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about the north elevation. Why is that fence there?
The fence along here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. When we originally designed this, there was no yard here. And so the building went all the way over to the property line. However, the building department pointed out in the initial review that we did need to have fire department access there for getting ladders in there to get up to the second floor and rescue people off of the balconies. So we had to provide the 3-foot aisleway there. And so since that aisleway is up front here, you can kind of jump over or climb over the retaining wall down to that level and walk in there. We wanted to keep the kids and everything out of that area and prevent...
Sorry, I'm referring to this black.
Yeah, that's on the property line right here.
Oh, so that's
To fence in that
just
3
looks-
yard, that yard, that 3-foot wide yard.
So behind that wall is 3 feet of
Right,
landscaping.
right.
Okay.
so confused. I get it. You had to have a 3-foot area so that they could put ladders up. But why is the fence there?
to keep the kids out and keep loiterers out or whatever.
Okay.
There is a wall there, you know, there starts being a retaining wall, as you can see on those elevations that you're looking at.
Rick's giving me the stink eye.
No,
I just wonder, my thing is like we spend an inordinate amount of time on the avenue,
Yeah.
and so the guy walking down the avenue, I don't want to think that he's, you know, it's not like a backyard, right?
No, it's a 3-foot wide side
Open
yard.
space. It's open
Yeah.
space. It's
Yeah.
not. There's no access from the rear for the commercial entity, right?
No.
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 So why is the fence there? How tall is the fence? Can
5
you move
feet.
The fence? Like, can you remove the fence?
Can we remove it? I suppose we could.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of an attract. I mean, it's wrought iron, isn't it?
Right, right.
It's wrought iron, and it's prohibited.
I
We
don't-
don't want kids or people
Yeah,
hanging
there
out
is
in
a-
that 3-foot area, and this would prevent that.
Well, it's not that
Well, I have
far
to
off.
say that I think it's also a safety issue for the people living up above. If you can get to the back of an apartment with a balcony,
If-
with a ladder dead at night, you're in the house. So I don't mind it at all.
If you were able to walk it, all right, maybe we're overreacting to the, you know, people monkeying around. But if you were able to walk in that 3 feet, you would get back a ways and there would be a retaining wall that's about 6 feet high because the grade is sloping down. Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, so here's the fence up here.
Yeah.
And then if you walked along here, you're staying up here, and then there's this
I'm tracking.
drop here. So it was, when we did the revisions that were required to provide the 8-foot or the 3-foot side yard, we thought that the fence would be appropriate.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not going to vote against you for the fence. I just don't like the fence. I don't know. I think it's an eyesore. Looks like a jail. My personal opinion, I suppose.
okay.
Am I alone on this? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Fair enough. It's a joke.
I think you should make a VRBO out of
That's the adamant. It's the most adamant I've ever seen Joe. Yeah, just shut up. Move on. Okay. I don't have any more questions, David.
Yes.
It's nice talking to you.
Yes.
You need to tell your brother you let you go first.
You start next time.
Any other questions for David?
I'd just like to commend them for putting in an elevator also for the tribe. I think that's, I hate having non-accessible buildings, you know, especially apartments, because as we get older, you know,
We get older? Yeah.
and it's.
No, I think it was a good move to do
Yeah.
that, and that happened early on in the project, and yeah, I think it'll pay off for them.
I like the way that you made the west side there, the non-entrance side attractive, so that it didn't look like the side of a building, and I appreciate that. So as you're driving by,
Right.
you know, it looks
Right.
like it should.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
That looks good.
Yeah, it's really attractive.
Okay, any more comments? Let's not hold these gentlemen up till late. Nope. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Sid.
You know, if you wanted to talk first, I'm going to...
Got to upstage on.
Just one comment on one of the conditions, which I spoke to Rose about earlier. Condition number 26 requires that we receive notification from FEMA as regarding floodplain issues. And I think Rose will help clarify that the intent of that condition is to take the buildings out of the floodway, not the entire project site.
Right, and that's correct, to clarify. It's the buildings themselves, the footprints, and they need to be out of the floodplain, and that works with their building elevation certificates and so on. So that's a good clarification.
So the change should be, instead of to remove the project site from the flood zone, it should be remove the project buildings?
Correct.
So we'll have that as a change on 26, correct?
Okay. All right, so we'll close public hearing. All right. I'll make a motion. I don't think there's going to be comments, right? Do you have any comments on this? No. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 16-01. I'm going to waive further reading.
With the change to
with the
condition
change
26.
to condition 26 to add the buildings vice the site. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Chair Rive,
Aye.
Commissioner Padilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Heady,
Aye.
Vice Chair Mercado.
Aye.
Okay, congratulations. Look forward to the project.
Thanks for the project, guys.
It's very
It's
pretty.
Yeah. It's a
Glad
nice
to-
addition.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
The second mixed-use project on the avenue.
It's a jump start along with your apartments for the avenue, along with our specific plan, so we
Yeah.
appreciate your participation.
Now look at that. 35 minutes, huh? Who says we don't like business in Buellton, huh?
But we do want to make some changes, minor ones.
Yeah. Okay, new public hearings, none other business, none recommendations, none. Planning commissioner comments, anybody? Okay. Mark.
Okay. Good news, City Council reviewed the recommendations from the Planning Commission on the Avenue of Flags specific plan and approved all of your recommendations on what you wanted to see done in the specific plan, except for Commissioner Heady. They do want to go to 45 with an incentive to 55. We did bring up your comments, but they considered all of that. And
Any major additions from them?
not really, was no, yeah, it was basically, they thought everything you guys did was good, and we're going to start moving forward on the specific plan. The major addition is not really an addition, but we'll be working with the property and business owners, sitting down in groups of different areas and showing them plan and getting them to buy in on the item. And on median 5, did we show the commission getting rid of the median and expanding the sidewalk?
I was
can't
just
remember
going to
that.
ask you about that. That was the one thing that I want real clarity on, was the transition from the street to the median to the whatever. So we talked about having a little curve.
No, this is more the median down where Mother Hubbard's is.
Oh,
They're
okay.
still working on the curb things, and we're going to work that out as a team and figure out what to do on that.
Okay.
So we haven't got the details. But the median 5 where Mother Hubbard's is, we're getting rid of the median, expanding the sidewalk, and the council was very, really thought that was a good idea. And we're moving that phase up in the process. It was kind of like in phase 3, we're going to make it into phase 1, try to get that one moving. But we're going to meet with property owners as we go through the process, and hopefully late spring we'll have a draft specific plan to bring to the community, and then fall we'll have go to the commission and council for adoption of the specific plan if all goes well. So guys, everybody did good on this. It was very positive meeting. You can watch it on live if you want. It's on the streaming. But it was very good. We did have the State of the City this afternoon at the Marriott, and the copy of the State of the City is on our website, so you can go take a look at my PowerPoint of everything that's going on. And the graffiti's almost gone.
Graffiti.
You did not see the graffiti.
Horrible.
You didn't?
Graffiti.
Where was
Thought
it?
it was fun.
The entire city.
Really?
I was
The
out of town.
entire west end of the city got hit with various
Blue and red and pink graffiti saying.
The west side
Satan,
of the city?
swastika,
Oh, it
all
was
kinds of things.
Meadow
Not
Ridge,
gang
the
stuff?
fences at Meadow Ridge.
No,
It's just
Mailboxes.
No, it was stupidity. There was a party at a...
Park,
Okay. Almost the entire west side of the town, all the walls along 246.
Oh, wow.
The Oak Park sign, sidewalks, signs. I mean, it was very, very extensive.
Front yard plants.
Yeah,
It was-
and there was a party at a house, and they all got drunk, and so it's not gang related, it's drunk related, basically.
Did we
And
get them?
the sheriff is investigating. It's hard to, they're trying to put the pieces together. They know where everybody was at that house that took care of that. They think did it, but nobody's copying to it, so they're still investigating. But our city crews in 90-degree heat were out trying to get as much off as they
Within
could.
12 hours, they were out there with tape and wash. I mean, it was great.
And then we got the local sandblaster to come out yesterday and today to finish off the job and get rid, and did a really good job of removing it with sandblasting. But our public works crews were out there in the heat, trying to minimize as much as possible, get rid of as much as possible, because, but they didn't have the technology or the tools to get it off the walls and things, so they covered it with tape and plastic, so you could not see it. So It's almost all gone, and I can't believe, I mean, it was,
I don't make it out that way.
I was out of town all last
okay.
week.
Yeah, I never go down
Yeah,
there,
so,
unfortunately.
and again, we don't think it was gang-related, it was just stupid-related.
It was,
Can I ask the public works director to leave now? Sorry, go ahead.
She
Yeah,
might want to go.
love her.
So anyway, it's pretty much taken care of, and we'll let you know if there's any arrests or anything moving forward, and we're tallying our costs, so maybe we can try to get some reimbursement
Yeah.
on all of that. But
So will the sign on the east side of town get repaired too then?
what?
Nothing?
Nothing. There's nothing over there.
No, the sign
The sign.
coming into Buellton that got destroyed?
Oh,
Oh.
I'll ask.
Yeah, that, we haven't replaced that yet. It's on our
To do.
list of things to do, but we're also waiting for the, remember the chamber was going to do a template to try to, a sample on refonting
Oh, right.
some of the wayfinding
Larger.
signs.
Larger.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're going to wait for that and before we order this. And
Yeah, so we
get that
don't,
sorted out.
put up something and take it down in 6 months again. In the bowling alley, the city council, I think I sent you an email on this, but they upheld your decisions. They thought your decisions were sound and valid, and denied both of the appeals. So we have till the end of the month, basically the 27th, for lawsuits to be filed. And I know Sid is working with the biologist, Matt, to try to work things out, so they may be able to come to some agreement on that. In Terravant, I don't know. We'll see where that appeal goes, whether they will file a lawsuit or not, but I think, one, they may be able to work out details, because I think there's easy solutions to fix on the drainage and things like that. So we'll keep you apprised on that, but yes, City Council thought it was a valid, good project, and you guys did your homework when you did your analysis and findings and all your recommendations, so.
What about the water garden property? What happened
yeah,
there?
so-
That's Santa Barbara Coy purchased it, so
Oh, no.
they'll be putting, it'll be a more of a fountain and landscape product sales. But they're fixing up the property, or they're putting up a higher wrought iron fence with landscaping along the frontages, and they're going to paint the building and improve the site.
And what about the Baker Square?
I haven't heard anything yet on that at this time. Tractor Supply is moving forward quickly, and as far as we know. Pardon?
Do you have an ETA on completion and
They
opening?
wanted to do it by the end of this month. Probably it's going to leak a couple weeks, but hopefully by March. And contrary to rumors that are floating around about other businesses, Chipotle, Habit, and Panda Express are coming.
And Supercuts.
Panda Express.
Yes, so there's rumors floating on Facebook that Chomp is coming and going to replace the Habit. That's not true at all. And AT&T and Supercuts are coming in as well.
great.
So those are the ones we have. The one building along with Murray hasn't had any tenants in it yet, I don't believe. But that's the one that's not as far along as some of the other ones. So
Good.
it's moving forward quickly.
No word on the hotel in that part?
No word on that hotel.
And
Gab,
it looks like you're going.
that the townhomes got building permits for 3 of their buildings, so they're doing that. Tilton's got their building permits, so they're pouring their foundations as we speak. You can see Hampton has structural things going up into the sky. And yeah, they're all moving. They're all moving, and they're trying to take advantage of the El Nino that we're not having right now. So, and that helps them because they can get more of their construction done without the rain.
It's supposed to come in March anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
that's what they said.
Yeah, the March Miracle again.
That's right, exactly right.
Anyway, that's my report. If you have any other questions.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you, Mark. 6:47.
All right.